I'm Sam Farnsworth, guys.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy less than 24 hours. All right, thank you much. Utah just about a week away from hosting the NBA All-Star Game, with plans now reportedly in the works to keep people experiencing homelessness off of the streets during the weekend event. Homeless advocates say that during a recent meeting with state, county, and city officials, they were offered money to provide temporary housing. One member questioning why the offer is happening right now, as the entire world will have eyes on the state and not during Utah's recent deep freeze. The plan would cost about $35,000, though it is unclear where that money would come from. State's homeless coordinator Wayne Niederhauser telling KSL that they want visitors as well as individuals experiencing homelessness to have a positive experience during All-Star Weekend.
Well, the NBA using the All-Star spotlight to that collapsed.
A trip and the experience of a lifetime for a Utah artist who traveled to the small town of Uvalde, Texas. He is hoping to bring comfort to families who had lost so much. J.R. Johansson took on this heartwarming task of painting all 21 victims in the horrific mass shooting at Robb Elementary School 8 months ago. He was given a photo by each one of the families and a short bio so that he could get to know the 19 children and 2 teachers. J.R. then traveled to Uvalde with the portraits, where he unboxed his precious cargo and had a chance to meet with families face to face.
It just spoke to me. She just really did.
That makes me happy because I want him to speak to you, and I believe he will.
Special Stan Rascone went to Uvalde with JR for this exclusive story you will only see tonight on KSL-5 News at 10.
Well, coming up next, the benefits of giving.
A journey of healing.
I've painted hundreds of portraits, but nothing like this.
For a beloved Utah artist and a grieving community.
Seeing her face, it's like she's still here.
From Utah to Uvalde, a special delivery tonight at 10.
Home prices are moderate.
As the Beehive State continues to grow, more and more people are commuting, whether that be by car, train, or foot. We have seen more collisions on Utah's railroads. There is a bill that aims to stop that.
The bill is intended to increase safety on railroad crossings across the state. Traffic specialist Katya Stepovic reports.
House Bill 63 would create an Office of Rail Safety. Now, the office would be in charge of inspecting railroad operations to make sure that all Utahns are kept safe.
Bill sponsor Mike Schultz says over the last 5 years, the state of Utah has seen 75 accidents on railroad crossings. 33 people were injured and 16 lives lost. So now he's proposing that a new Office of Rail Safety, funded by Union Pacific, can change that.
There'd be 10 to 12 employees, inspectors that go all across the state to address the safety concerns.
He says reconstructing railroad crossings to become more safe has been increasingly difficult because of Union Pacific's lack of cooperation.
We have a 4-lane road. It necks down to 2 lanes to cross the railroad and then winds back out to 4 lanes because we can't get the approval from Union Pacific to widen that roadway.
If passed, Schultz hopes this bill creates a better working relationship with Union Pacific to work better with local governments and the state of Utah so they can collectively find solutions to improve safety on the railroads.
With, when you have literally hundreds of projects across the state that are being held up because Union Pacific won't approve them, or they're trying to force the local government to pay for the maintenance on that where they otherwise haven't. It's not fair to place that burden on the taxpayer of the state. Union Pacific needs to step up.
The bill passed out of committee and it now heads to the House floor. For KSL-5 News, I'm Katya Stepovic.
All right, Katya, thank you. A trip and an experience of a lifetime for a Utah artist who traveled to the small town of Uvalde, Texas, to bring comfort to families who lost so much. J.R. Johansson took on the heartwarming task of painting all 21 victims in that horrific mass shooting that happened at Robb Elementary School 8 months ago. Each family giving him a photo and a short bio so that he could get to know the 19 children and the 2 teachers. J.R. then traveled to Uvalde with the portraits in hand, where he unboxed his precious cargo and then had a chance to meet with families face to face.
It just spoke to me. She just really did.
That makes me happy because I want him to speak to you, and I believe he will.
It's a great story. News special Stan Rascone went to Uvalde with JR for this exclusive heartwarming story you will see only on KSL tonight at 10 o'clock.
Twitter testifying coming up.
That's coming up in just a couple of minutes.
All right, Kevin, thanks. Still ahead, an experience of a lifetime for a Utah artist who traveled to Uvalde, Texas. He's hoping to bring comfort to families impacted by the mass shooting at Robb Elementary School.
She just really did.
That makes me happy.
News specialist Dan Rascone traveled with the artist, and it's a story you'll only see on KSL.
A life-changing trip for a Utah artist who traveled to Uvalde, Texas. Small town still recovering from a horrific mass shooting.
News specialist Dan Rascone has the exclusive story as he flew with this artist to Uvalde for a precious delivery. Dan?
Very precious indeed, Mike and Deanie. 78-year-old J.R. Johansson, a local artist who has created hundreds of paintings over the years, personally hand-delivered a portrait of each one of the victims to their families. A trip that brought tears, joy, and comfort to those families.
Okay. I prayed that somehow these would make it down here. All right.
A long-anticipated day.
That was the first one.
Months in the making.
Oh, yes.
Utah artist J.R. Johansson.
I love this little girl.
Unboxing his very precious cargo.
Looks like they've survived the trip well.
In the small Texas town of Uvalde. These are portraits he painted of all 19 children and 2 teachers.
I just love their faces.
Killed in a horrific mass shooting at Robb Elementary 8 months ago.
That's a tough assignment.
That assignment started months ago, 1,300 miles away, in the small town of Huntsville, Utah, in JR's backyard studio.
I see innocence and I see happiness.
The photos and bios of each life lost
Alethea loved to draw.
were collected by his brother-in-law, Ross Davidson.
It's a beautiful, quiet, sweet little community with good people.
Ross and his wife, Jolene, live in Uvalde on an assignment from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Okay.
Ross knew of JR's talents and gave him a call.
Have you considered that you might be able to paint a portrait of those that passed away? And I could hear him break into tears in his voice. As he said, that has been on my mind and my heart as well.
See the eye coming out there a bit.
For years, JR has been painting missionaries who lost their lives while serving and donating them to their families.
You nailed it.
To date, he's done over 150 missionary portraits.
I have experienced pretty tender moments painting missionaries who have died.
But never
Little Juliana,
had he undertaken a project like this.
bless your heart.
We were with JR as he traveled to Uvalde, a chance to help heal wounds in a community that has lost so much. This is not a town that's about to forget the lives that were lost here. All across town, huge memorials depicting the 19 children and 2 teachers.
I want to see them receive some sort of comfort from the portrait.
Hi.
Hi, J.R. Johansson is my name.
One by one, the families arrived.
It was a pleasure to paint his portrait.
Beautiful.
Well, thank you.
JR getting a chance to meet parents and loved ones.
More of a thank you.
Well, you're welcome.
For doing this for our kids.
You're welcome.
Face to face.
It was a sincere honor to paint her portrait. I'm so sorry that it happened.
A tender
It's beautiful.
and emotional scene.
It's like she's still here.
And,
You captured him very well.
Well, did I?
One of the best pictures
That pleases me.
As families see the faces of their little ones.
It just spoke to me. She just really did.
That makes me happy because I want him to speak to you. And I believe he will.
Every portrait coming to life for the families. Is that her?
Yes, 100% her.
It looks beautiful. I love it.
The eyes, the smile, the hair.
Her glasses. She always had to have her glasses.
It's beautiful. It's awesome. Rethinking the day over and over. It's played back in our minds over and over. And have to keep ourselves busy to not rethink about it.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
A trip and a moment in time
I'm going to put it in my living room and see him every day.
never to be forgotten.
Having them come here and be able to meet so many of them was just a monumental moment in my life.
He has some very tender and powerful moments. Uvalde is a place, too, I will never forget. Walking the ground of Robb Elementary, personally meeting with these families and hearing their stories. There, of course, is so much more to tell with this story. That's why we're putting together a 30-minute documentary on the Uvalde Angels that will air during General Conference weekend in April. So look for that. Mike and Deanie.
Oh, Dan, thank you. Those portraits are just beautiful.
Yeah, powerful story there. Well done, Dan. All right, Kevin, the way the day started, the way it ended.